time for Dave101.
You know why people hate politicians? Is they are continually talking out of both sides of their mouths. And when we want to get something done, we know that these elected officials who are supposed to have the backs of the people really only have the backs for themselves. This is why they could say they're angry on one hand, but on the other hand, not say anything about it. And this has now infected the UFO world. And I'm telling you, I'm not happy about it. I understand, but I'm not happy about it. Here's what's going on if you're not paying attention. All right. Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, who's a Republican, by the way, says he's not taking it anymore from the Pentagon and military officials about what they continue to hide about UFOs. He is quoted as saying, "There's an arrogance in government at that level that we cannot handle what's going on out there." On balance, with Leland Vittert, he says, "It's a bogus cover-up. It doesn't fit, and it's about power and control." He goes on to say, "I don't trust the Department of Defense to get this right. Since leadership, there has always been part of a cover-up." Now, Burchett is a member of the House Transportation Aviation Subcommittee and represents a district where there have been numerous reports of UFO sightings. He goes on to say, "It is clear from public evidence that we don't have full control of our airspace. That's a national security issue, and it's also unacceptable." He goes, "We need to take the shackles off the entire program. We need to put pressure on the government, on the Pentagon, on funding and everything else, and say enough is enough. Bring forth what you got and let the American public decide. I trust the American public. Release it all." And he wants everything to come back from Roswell on forward. Look, this sounds like a dream. This sounds perfect. This is what the UFO world has been waiting for. But wait, there's more. He says, "It's not a tinfoil hat thing anymore. You've gotten a pilot describing something that has been described for decades since Roswell, New Mexico. It's a little tighter, high level than I believe we're being told. The government is part of the cover-up, and they're not going to disclose it to us because they don't trust us with having enough sense to diagnose. It's very frustrating." However, let's go to the other side of Burchett's mouth. Because in this same interview, when he was asked if he has seen things that caught him off guard, he said, "Yes, I have." And he would not explain what that "yes, I have" was. Now, granted, to his defense, it may be because of a non-disclosure agreement. There are things that he has learned that have obviously scared the representative of Tennessee and would probably scare many of us here, whether we're in the UFO field or not. Imagine the public finding out what Tim Burchett knows, what Marco Rubio knows, even what Lou Elizondo or Chris Mellon know. Are they ready? Are you sure you're ready? Personally, I still sit on the side of no, the public is not ready. We don't know how it's going to affect the markets. We don't know how it's going to reflect religion. Because remember, UFOs are not an American problem. They're not a Canadian problem. They're not a Chinese problem. They're not a Russian problem. They are a 7.8 billion people problem. Now, the word problem may be a little strong because we don't know, as far as we've been told, as to whether or not the aliens have even landed here. To the experiencers, of course, we are already knowing. But to the rest of the world, who is more interested in staring at their cell phone screen than they are staring into the sky or paying attention to what is happening around them, they have no clue. I will say this, and I've said it before, and I will remind you again. COVID was a great litmus test for what the government would see come out of people during panic time. Who here still has toilet paper stocked up in their storage room that they got at the beginning of the pandemic? Show of hands, anyone? Now, we're hoping that there's more logical thinkers out there than those who were hoarding everything from ribeye steaks to toilet paper to Metamucil and condoms. And I say that facetiously, but you all know that's what happened. We saw the worst of humanity during the early stages of the crisis and the pandemic. What about aliens? How are we going to react? Hollywood hasn't done any favors. The government hasn't done any favors. Nobody has done us any favors. What it comes down to is we have a politician who says he's speaking for the people, but he won't tell the people what he already knows. Yes, he doesn't want to be kicked off any subcommittees. Yes, he's a career politician. He wants to make it to the top as far as he can go. Yes, he has seen things that have probably frightened him and made him question his own faith, his own religion, his own security. And if he really cares about America that much, probably every American person out there. Now, on the flip side, we are also hearing news that the Canadian government has been briefed on UFOs at the same time. Now, this goes beyond what Lou Elizondo said on this show, where he kind of outed me for setting up meetings. No, this is with the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, which I'm sure the guy put his UFO alien socks on for the occasion. And if he did, good on him. That would probably be the only good move he's made in 2022. But the idea is this subject is starting to get bigger and bigger. Those who are elected are getting outraged, as they should. But still, we as the public are put on hold. We're shoved to the side. Tim Burchett, we're going to invite you on this show, and we will let our audience know whether or not you respond, whether or not you say yes or no. Because I want to get your opinion. I want to know what you know. And if you are all about disclosure, going back to Roswell, what makes you think that people, not just the American people, can handle what is going on? And if it is that awesome of information, why aren't you telling us what you know? Look, the public is tired of the secrets. They are tired of the cover-up. This is why someone like Lou Elizondo is stepping away from this field, at least publicly for now, because the UFO community is pissed off and mad about it, to quote a Texas Hippie Coalition song. Great song, by the way. Check it on out. Why are they mad? Because for years we have been told and laughed at, told we were liars, that we were sci-fi geeks, that we were very imaginative in our belief system. No, there weren't aliens. It was just people, but your mind was hazy because you were on too much drugs or alcohol or schizophrenic or bipolar or any other type of mental disease. No, it wasn't UFOs. It was swamp gas. It was flares. It was anything but aircraft. And now the government wants to be the good guy in this. And the UFO community, even though we all have our fingers crossed, isn't buying it. And they are continuing to put the pressure on. And good on the UFO community for doing that. We're tired of the stories. We are tired of the cover-ups. And we are closer to disclosure, a full-on disclosure, than we ever have before. So much so that we can taste it. And that is the reason why we are upset. We want to know why this is going on. We want to know why that there are UFOs in our skies. We want to know the dirty little secrets of whether or not there are UFOs and alien bodies at Area 51. We want to know what Lockheed Skunk Works has literally, retrofitted from ancient alien craft that crashed here a long time ago. We want to know if Ben Rich was right, saying we have the technology to get ET home again. After all, whether you are across the United States or whether you're watching where I am, the cover-up in Canada, our taxpayers' dollars are paying for that in the hundreds of millions. And they're playing us for dumb. Why? Because those who wore tinfoil hats were actually right. And now we have to hear Politibabble, nice word there, Politibabble over UFOs, that get off my lawn type of attitude that Tim Burchett is having right now. Look, I am very happy that Burchett is continuing to press. But what we need, Representative Tim Burchett from Tennessee, is we need you to be the mouthpiece, the whistleblower, to tell us what truly is going on. If you care about America that much, open your lips and tell us what you know. If it's that important for the American public and the UFO public in general to know what's going on, how about you be the leader, the catalyst, the man behind the mask? Open up and tell us what you know. In other words, have the cojones to tell the people what they're missing out on. That is your Dave 101. Leave me a response below. If you're on YouTube, let me know what you think.